to say a decent amount of success over the past couple of years.
For Lorenzo, not so much in-tournament success, but plenty of online achievements, as you can see from this tournament, if that's anything to go off of. And yeah, he seems to be playing one of the best decks in the format, seems to have a pretty straightforward list, so he has a good grasp on the meta, and it's got him this far, so why not continue through the loser's bracket?
Absolutely. So let's go to the game then. Let's see what these players can do. We are in losers round 3, and the player who loses this game will be out, but we are getting kind of close to the end on this one. So the player that wins this game is going to be in a pretty good position, and even though you're in the losers bracket, if you can keep winning your way through and getting close to the end, you're still going to be feeling pretty good. You're going to feel like, okay, one loss and I'm out, but I just don't feel like I'm going to take that loss.
Yeah, exactly. And looks like we're going to be following Zach's side here. Lorenzo is going to be at the top of your screen. And looks like Zach is starting out with a Bolton V. Not a bad thing at all. He's got a lot of ball search. He lost the coin flip and is forced to go first. Lorenzo wanting to do the first electrify of the game. Zach already with an awkward decision. Getting rid of crushing hammers and reset stamps aren't the best here, but you need to start trying to get some attachments down. He's also thinking about putting the Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX down. Lorenzo does play one copy of his own Mewtwo and Mew, so it's not quite as tanky as you would like it to be in this matchup, so it's a real decision for him out the gate.
Well, it's weak to itself, so if you put yours down and your opponent KOs it with theirs, that is going to be a pretty easy KO. Using those attacks like Full Blitz at double power will do it quite nicely. So you can use Mewtwo and Mew, but oh, you got to be careful. We do see the electromagnetic radar coming down here, and it's a nice excuse to scout through your deck, but we're going to see the usual things, I think, coming off of this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Dene and most likely Pikachu and Zekrom. You can quick ball if you want to go ahead and proactively find Tapu Koko Prism, even though you currently don't have any energies in your discard pile. The alternative is to go ahead and grab both of these tag teams early, and then you can use the quick ball for the Dene or the Crobat as well, if you want to hold the option of possibly the Crushing Hammer for the turn.
It's not a bad option at all. I mean, if you can get some attackers down and you can get an energy attachment turn 1, that is about the best you can hope for. Of course, we're going to need to see a bunch of cards hitting the board if that's going to happen. Crobat ain't drawing you very much now. It draws till you've got 6 cards in your hand, so you're going to need to play a few cards, discard one with your quick ball if you want to go for the Crobat, or you could go more aggressive with your Dedenne. There's no supporter in hand here, which of course you're not allowed to play turn 1 going first, so there is no reason to hold the hand really at all. It's play what you can, and it's either Crobat or Dedenne. Hopefully one of those, whichever one you choose, will get you a supporter for next turn.
Interesting. So he's going for the Crobat play, and the reset stamp would be instantly playable for him if he had chosen to play that card down. So in the end, he is making the decision to put this Mewtwo. He's still thinking about it, you know. He doesn't know whether or not to put this Mewtwo and Mew down, because these Pikachu and Zekrom decks, they play Energy Switch. They have Tapu Koko, so a Mewtwo could be burst onto the scene at any point in the game. So you can see Zach doesn't want to discard it, but he also doesn't want to put it into play just yet. So keeping the option open for him for the latter stages here. And he's just going to attach to his Pikachu and Zekrom and pass, by the looks of things.
Not a bad plan at all. Of course, we are playing open deck lists here. You can see what your opponents are playing. And if you see that your opponent is playing one Mewtwo and Mew and no Pokemon Recovery, and that Mewtwo and Mew hits the discard pile, then you know that your own Mewtwo and Mew can just come out and start wreaking havoc with no good check to it. So there is going to be a little bit of a game of chicken here. If one player loses their Mewtwo and Mew and the other one doesn't, or one player goes too aggressive with their Mewtwo and Mew, there are going to be options you can use to take advantage of that.
Yeah, well, Zach actually plays 2 copies. That was really my main surprise, that I didn't see him just reset stamp 6 to 6, you know, just refresh the hand for Lorenzo, but it meant that you could quick ball away the Mewtwo and Crobat for an additional card. So a bit of a surprise there, but Zach really just thinking, will I be potentially even full blitzing onto this Mewtwo next turn? So it depends how he wants to play it. So keeping the option available in his eyes is worth more than a card right now. And Lorenzo looks like he's got a decent opening. He's been able to quick ball away a Lightning for that Bolton V. It's the optimal choice. You can also speed Lightning Energy onto that Bolton. So really looking towards switch outs here, and potentially just something like Electromagnetic Radar to go ahead and find his own Pikachu and Zekrom or Raichu.
Yeah, Electrify is good, but you do need something to electrify onto. This Cherish Ball, that should go quite nicely towards doing it. So that's going to help quite a bit here. And then, of course, we've got, oh, is this just a Pikachu and Zekrom? Not much time searching the deck. That's going to come straight down. And we could just see a switch into Boltund, or maybe there are some other options in the hand to take advantage of.
Yeah, I don't think he's played a supporter yet either, so there could even be some hand disruption if he wants to, or just Professor's Research for a deeper dive into the deck. Depends really what he's holding on to, and if he has access to the switching out just yet. Looks like no switch available to him, so he was just debating whether or not to Dede Change or use one of those supporters. Instead, he's just going to get rid of the hand with Dede Change. He does draw into the switch card, which is a big deal. He can throw a hammer down as well, which hits heads.
Nice.
That's going to be a bit of a back and forth throughout the entire series. And now he should be pretty content to electrify.
Yeah, that was a nice turn in the end. You've got your Electrify, you get your energy onto your Pikachu and Zekrom while taking the energy off your opponent. And then you kind of take a 3-1 energy lead here, which in these Pikachu and Zekrom mirror matches, having more energy can be pretty gosh darn big.
And Zach is going to be quick balling to start things off here. I think he's going to try and want to develop that Tapu Koko as quickly as possible to try and get some energies back onto the field to counteract the Crushing Hammer. And again, we have the debate. Is it Mewtwo time or not? Zach's still unsure. The Crushing Hammer gets heads straight in response to Lorenzo's heads. So keep that counter close, guys, to the game. Who's going to win out on Crushing Hammer heads? Maybe the eventual winner of the series. But he has drawn into his own energy cards here, Zach. I'd be amazed if we don't see an Electrify here. Has to be the best choice with the current hand that he's sat with.
Yeah, there's just not enough energy and options to really get much else going. Maybe with a Dance of the Ancients and an energy switch and all of that and a switch, maybe a full blitz. But it's a lot to ask. It's not the hand we've got. So Air Balloon onto the Boltund to get it out the active in the future. And just an Electrify here. And we've got a very similar thing going on. We just see essentially Zach doing what Lorenzo did one turn afterwards. So we got kind of a fairly similar start here. Electrify, Pikachu and Zekrom, waiting for one player to get enough going to really push the aggression and start trying to get ahead in the game.
Yeah, and this is going to be an indicator of Lorenzo's hand, whether or not he's going to try and make a push with his own Tapu Koko now, try and get some sort of full blitz plays together, or if he's going to be content to Electrify again this turn. Really, it depends on the strength of his hand. If he thinks he can make a push towards making that Tapu Koko, I think you only ever full blitz if you're able to use it with a boss's orders. I don't think you ever want to hit into a Boltund if you're not knocking it out, because it's so easy later on. Crushing Hammer getting heads, another big head there. It's nice, but at least Zach already has developed his Tapu Koko Prism Star, so it's not the biggest deal anymore. The only thing it's denying is, potential aggressive Boltund plays, but I think most of the time Zach's turn is just going to be full blitzing anyway next turn. So not the most impactful heads, but it's pretty good. We do see a Radar here.
Yeah, getting himself some more GX Pokemon, and it's just another Pikarom and another Raichu and a Alolan Raichu. So, presumably there's a supporter. There we go. There is a Professor's Research. I was going to say, that probably shows he's either got a terrible hand or a supporter. So we see Professor's Research coming down here, and, there's an energy on the Pikarom. If we saw a Tapu Koko now, that would open up the option of a full blitz here. Of course, you don't really want to full blitz into a Boltund. You'd rather full blitz into a tag team. But sometimes getting the first damage off, getting some energy on the board, it's awkward. Whether you just set up your board or whether you go in a little bit aggressively. Certainly, if you've got a boss's orders to put pressure on, that's good. So I think there's certainly options for both players.
I think we'll be seeing Electrify again here, and Lorenzo probably splitting his energy up onto the Raichu and the Pikachu and Zekrom at the end of his turn, most likely here. Because like we say, we only want to be full blitzing if we're doing it into 3 prize Pokemon, to be honest, because you want to be able to set those up, and he's actually going to go for a 3-1 split to try and protect against other Crushing Hammers potentially coming out from Zach here, which is also super reasonable.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. It seems to be this is a game where Crushing Hammers can only flip heads, and when all the Crushing Hammers are flipping heads, you need to be a little bit careful here. So we do see a Cherish Ball coming down here. Again, we're eyeing up the Mewtwo. Could it be time? We do see confirmation of the 2 Mewtwo there, so could be. We could be getting right back to 2012 here and going back into the Mewtwo wars and just trading Mewtwo's back and forth. Except this time Mew's come along for the ride. But no, we just see the Dene.
I think Zach's finally given up the ghost for one of these copies. He's got the other copy as an option if he needs to. He has drawn into Boss's Orders here, and he can dance in the Ancient, so he could be the one full blitzing first onto the Pikachu and Zekrom of Lorenzo's. So certainly a good Dene change from Zach there.
Yeah, that went beautifully, and oh, and another Crushing Hammer's head. So, do you go after the Raichu and Alolan Raichu to stop the backup attacker while taking out the Pikachu and Zekrom? Is what I would have done, and it seems to be what Zach is going for as well here. So, it really does look like we're going to see a Dance of the Ancients, get the energy on, Boss's Orders onto the Pikachu and Zekrom, get the first damage out after having taken the energy off the backup attacker. And it does seem like Zach is putting himself in a really strong position here. He's got more energy on the board. He's taking the first hit into the Pikachu and Zekrom. I really like what's going on here. And now Lorenzo, does he attack with his own Pikachu and Zekrom, which would mean giving it up? Or does he try and get another attacker set up? But does he even have the board to do that?
Yeah, I think he's more than likely just forced into a full blitz play here because you have to start getting damage in. Crushing Hammers could be another way that he could be a little bit safer in this situation. Does get a Tails this time, the first Tails of the game. I think if you're Lorenzo's side, I think it's at that stage similar to what we saw earlier in the day with Brent. If you're behind on board presence, you're hoping to be the one dictating the reset stamp, and that's got to be Lorenzo's only real way back into this game. I think Zach's got rid of both of his own reset stamps early on, so that could be a window for Lorenzo later down the line here.
No, absolutely could. We do see a quick ball coming down for that Tapu Koko. Dance of the Ancient's going to get 2 more energy onto the board, 1 to each of 2 bench Pokemon. So that is a way to start getting some more energy rolling here, presumably onto the Raichu, Alolan Raichu, and onto the Boltund, one would imagine. And then hopefully from there you can start, well, just really getting set up. Full Blitz here would give Lorenzo a nice board of energy here, but it would also pretty much guarantee he goes down by 3 prizes.
Yeah, I think you kind of just take that. As long as he can go for Professor's Research here and build a large hand size, I wouldn't be too upset with the turn overall. If he's just holding a hand, possibly it's because he's got Boss's Orders already developed, but that's the only thing that I'm concerned about. Or if he's holding onto a Reset Stamp, those are the only cards that you'd hold in this situation. Otherwise, I'd be really tempted to try and go for Research or Marley to try and build a bigger hand position.
No, absolutely. Cards are everything. You know, cards will give you the option, is what allow you to build up these attackers. It's an awkward thing, though, because even if you've got good cards, all it takes is your opponent to drop something like a Marnie, and those cards you were holding are all of a sudden gone. Now, we do see a switch coming out here into the Boltund, so Lorenzo not willing to give up that Pikachu and Zekrom, happy with the amount of energy on the board, apparently, unless we know it is just going to be a Bolt Storm. It's not enough for a KO, but trying to essentially warp the prize trade here, trying to make sure that he's not just giving up free prizes to begin with, but of course the Boss's Orders is going to undo all of his hard work.
Yeah, off the top, Zach, with the Boss's Orders. It's exactly what you want to see when Lorenzo tries to protect his 3 prize Pokemon. You want to be the one picking off all of those energies and taking an additional prize card while you're at it. So, yeah, really good draw from Zach. He's just getting into that ascendancy a little bit more. And Lorenzo wasn't showing much of a hand. Either he's holding on to pieces, such as Reset Stamp, and not willing to research, or he's just holding on to, not a lot, to be honest.
And in this situation, if he doesn't have a good hand, we could see this game coming to an end fairly quickly. I mean, on the one hand, Lorenzo forced Zach to have the Boss's Orders, but he's giving up the Pikachu and Zekrom anyway. He's just not, assuming there is energy left in his deck to accelerate, not accelerating the energy onto something like that Raichu and Alolan Raichu. So gave up a little bit of board position in the hope that his opponent didn't have Boss's Orders, but then when Zach did, it makes things extremely awkward. And now we're going to see another Boltund here, except this Boltund is actually going to come out and get a one-hit KO. Oh, not a one-hit KO, but definitely finish off and get the KO, I should say.
Yeah, and this Boltund's a lot more handy than Lorenzo's option last turn, because Zach didn't have a big hand size, but he had plenty of options to attack with the Boltund anyway and knock it out in one hit, whereas Lorenzo's side of the board can't even deal with the Boltund in one hit at all in any situation here. He's already blown up his own Tapu Koko Prism Star, that's already danced, so there's no burst acceleration for energies at all anymore for Lorenzo. He's just trying to manually attach slowly into his Raichu and Alolan Raichu, and that means that the Boltund won't be able to score a knockout here. So if Lorenzo isn't holding his own Boss's Orders, and there's
an
an Eldegoss. So the Eldegoss is going to keep Lorenzo in good shape here, but he also needs to attach to his Raichu and a lone Raichu here. Otherwise, he's still in a lot of trouble.
His ball position's not good. You know, if this Bolton goes down, he's got one energy on Raichu and Alolan Raichu, and that's it. He has taken some prizes now, which is lovely. Both players are at 3 prizes each. But if I look at Zach, he's got a 2-energy Bolton and a 4-energy Raichu and Alolan Raichu. I look at Lorenzo, he's got a 2-energy Bolton and a 1-energy Raichu and Alolan Raichu. That is not particularly equitable, and we do see Zach considering there putting a 5th energy on and just getting a 1-hit KO on the Bolton. Oh, we see a Crushing Hammer as well here, and Zach is going to take all the energy off the board, it looks like, and put Lorenzo in a horrendous position.
Yep, and not wanting to play any of these supporters because his draw for turn was Eldegoss. Eldegoss is his win condition for next turn, so just going to completely hold the hand. He has complete control of this game right now. Even reset stamps, just there's no energy left for Lorenzo at all. So, and there's no burst acceleration in any situation. So Lorenzo at best is, you know, trying to tank a hit with Raichu and a lone Raichu, but realistically, I don't think there's a win condition left for him with this board state.
No, when all the energy went, that Crushing Hammer... I mean, to be fair, even without the Crushing Hammer heads, it was unlikely Lorenzo was getting a good attack off this turn. We see his own Crushing Hammer, which also comes out as a heads, but it's too little too late at this stage. We're going to see a boss's orders off the Eldegoss. Now, there is a Marnie, but Zach does not have a lot of cards left in his deck. I think there's maybe 22, including his hand. So... he might draw. He draws a Dedenne, so even if he doesn't have the KO this turn, Zach is very much in a driver's seat in this game.
Yeah, he's in cruise control at this point. I mean, there's no fear of losing in the next like 4 turns. You know, if Lorenzo has the absolute best hands possible, and Zach can just slowly, you know, announce attacks to win the game at this point. So, yeah, we can just see Lorenzo. He sees the writing, and he's going to opt to go second in the second game of this series. Zach going up really convincingly in that first one.
Yeah, that was a pretty dominating game there from Zach. He really did seem to be in control, even though I think he got the second Electrify, didn't he? And he was kind of started the game a turn behind, but it didn't really matter. He set up his board beautifully. He got his energy on the board. He kept his energy on the board. He was able to take the key KOs when he needed to, and you saw the end game there. Zach's board was just so much better, and when you've got a mirror match, you rarely have these tricksy end games. It often comes down to the player who either is able to set up the best, or like you pointed out in the mid game there, maybe one of them can have a reset stamp and take advantage of that. But both players are aiming for the same thing, and when you look at the board and one player is doing it so much better, the writing is on the wall fairly early.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I think in the mid-game he had a patch where he just wasn't drawing supporters, and that's rare for Pikachu and Zekrom. Normally you play, you know, a decent amount of Research and Marnie and Crobat and Dedenne and Eldegoss, so you basically never get into those situations as Pikachu and Zekrom, but just in this situation, Lorenzo ended up with a bit of a dud hand, and it meant that Zach could just continue with his amazing, you know, board state and just keep putting on the pressure turn by turn and having the optimal turn, whereas Lorenzo just wasn't able to do the same.
No, we all have those games, unfortunately. It is far from ideal, but the good news is we are in a best of 3, so let's head on over to game 2 and see if we can't have a little bit more luck here from Lorenzo. See if he can have a mid-game where he doesn't run dry of supporters and builds up a slightly better board state as we go along.
And Zach, looks like he's just going to confirm that Lorenzo wanted second here, just to make sure. But I think Lorenzo said he would like to go second after the first game, just to make sure. Yeah, okay. And Zach, you know, this, we know why this is. This is just because he wants to be the one using Boltund quickly and also denying Zach from some of his draw potential. But Zach's drawn into a great hand, actually, for the player going first. A guaranteed energy to throw into the discard pile, an energy for Boltund. That's all you really want, or an energy to your active even, with a balloon switch out. So, yeah, really good stuff from him.
Yeah, I like this hand from Zach. I mean, it's you've got energy, you've got quick ball, you've got your air balloon. Oh, you even top deck a Boltund there and another quick ball.
Whoa, that hand's insane. That hand is insane.
Such a good hand. Yeah, so, you know, you put your energy on either your active or your Boltund. You can get yourself a Pokemon and a Dedenne here. And, of course, you are getting 2 Lightning Energy in the discard turn 1. So we could actually see a turn 1 Dance of the Ancients for full value going first. That is not something you see very often.
That's pretty rare, and he'll get the free refill of the hand as well after the quick ball, which is super impactful and really good for him. So yeah, can get him to work on whether he wants to try and find, crushing hammers or, boss's orders. These are all the cards that you're looking for in those opening stages. So yeah, this start is just really strong from him.
And, we don't even need to Dene here. We can go Crobat, fill up your hand, save the Professor's Research for next turn. Might even just pass. I mean, you've got what you needed. You've got your Boltund, you've got your energy on the board, you've got your energy in your discard and your Tapu Koko. You've got a really good hand for next turn, so see what your opponent's going to do. Don't fill up your bench with Pokemon you might not need to.
So yeah, it's interesting because it kind of plays around Marnie this way, but I still would have kind of liked to see the quick ball and just hold the card, because then you've got that energy guaranteed in the discard pile for yourself early. I guess this way round, you're playing around a Crushing Hammer hitting heads against you and still being able to get dance value fully, so it just keeps your options a little bit more open here, which is certainly reasonable. Lorenzo's also able to mirror Zach's first move here, where he's going to quick ball away his own basic lightning to the discard pile. Going to have a search through, most likely looking for those Boltund plays though.
Yeah, absolutely. Turn 1 Electrify. We've seen it a lot. We've said it a lot. It is clearly the optimal play, turn 1 going second. It gets more energy onto your board. It sets up your full blitz, which gets more energy onto the board. And it really does just get you rolling along nicely. So, bit of time for a deck search. Grabs out the Boltund. If we've got an energy and a switch, there's the energy. And it's a speed lightning. So 2 more cards. If there's a switching card here, I mean, you still need something to get the energy onto, and as I'm saying it, down comes Pikachu and Zekrom. With a switching card, this is a nice start.
Yeah, and he's still got supporter moves to make as well if he really wants to. He could try and even make life awkward for Zach by bossing orders up the Tapu Koko Prism Star if his hands are good enough. If he's still looking for switch outs, you've probably just got to dig with Research or Marnie here, but if he has options for those, he's going to have a decent turn.
Yeah, things are looking pretty nice here. We do see the air balloon onto the Dedenne, so that guarantees the retreat into the Boltund here. And a quick ball, so this gives another option either to draw some more cards or to just get another Pokemon out to potentially be an Electrify target, spread the energy around if need be. And we do see a Raichu and a Alolan Raichu.
Yeah, I think if he's discarding a Marnie, he's either holding a second one or he's happy to research this hand away. That would be the most likely of the two things. Or he's going to do the same thing Zach did and just hold the options for the following turn. All reasonable things here.
Yeah, they're all pretty good options. I mean, he's got the turn 1 Electrify. Oh, he does have another Marnie, you were correct. It's awkward Marnie when your opponent's got a free card hand because you're giving them more cards than they had. But then again, Zach played Pokemon Search and didn't go for Dedenne, which generally says you've got a not terrible hand. So even though it gives Zach more cards, Lorenzo had reason to believe that Zach was holding on to a decent hand.
Yeah, it's not always the size of your opponent's hands that matter. It's knowing what they did, what actions they made the previous turn that really gives you a good indication of what is and isn't available to them. So like you said, the hand size wasn't large, but Lorenzo probably had a good feel that it was certainly reasonable. And Zach getting a Crushing Hammer heads, always nice to see. And he's going to research away this hand here. 1 reset stamp hitting the discard pile sometimes can be awkward. No switching outs for Zach yet either, so we may just see the Speed Lightning to the Boltund here to see if he can find switch outs. The alternative, now that you've hit a Crushing Hammer heads, is possibly just attaching to the active and hoping. I think the Boltund's the safest move, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult choice, actually. He still has the Dedenne as well.
But then you're getting, the problem with Dedenne is you're getting rid of energy that isn't coming back with Tapu Koko. So we see double energy switch, which is, to be fair, you can dance to the Ancients and then energy switch over and you can get the full blitz this turn. It's not the perfect dance to the Ancients, but it's got to be what you've got. With the hand that you've got there, it's 1 energy. It's not ideal, but you know what? It gets you to turn 1 full blitz. The thing is now, you need a decent target for the full blitz.
Yeah, I still would imagine that we're still going to see the Dedenne change here. Zach drew both of his energy switches, so you always have to make this play before Dedenne change if you're ever going to attempt to go for full blitz. It's a little bit awkward that he is hitting into Boltund and not getting much value, but it's still a little bit better than just a regular Electrify at this stage, and it's guaranteed. And as you see, he didn't find any other switch outs, so drawing into Raichu, pretty good option. Another Crushing Hammer as well that he can play here, this time getting Tails, but yeah, he's found the perfect target to full blitz onto now.
Yeah, and that's not too bad. He's got a Pokemon to full blitz onto. He's got damage on the board. He's got the energy. It's more energy than he would have got with Electrify. It does open up the possibility of Lorenzo getting the first attack into a tag team, which is, as we've said, pretty big in this matchup. But Lorenzo's still got some work to pull that off. There's only one energy on the Pikachu and Zekrom. Certainly that one Crushing Hammer Heads was big. Second Crushing Hammer Heads would have been so good and made it really unlikely to happen, but as it is, not a bad turn from Zach, not perfect, but could have been an awful lot worse.
Let's see what Lorenzo can piece together. Can he try and find his own Dance of the Ancients here to actually begin full blitzing? Again, it's so important to be full blitzing into the 3 prize Pokemon as much as you can, just denying the opponent from full blitzing as much as possible, because flooding the board of energy is just super intimidating. The Bolton gets out of control, and you have to deal with the tag team Pokemon. It's the most efficient route for you to take your 6 prizes. So can Lorenzo piece together anything here to get to work with that? Looks like starting off with the Marnie, gonna hand disrupt Zach a little bit here, but really not the most powerful supporter option here to start off with Lorenzo. He might need some help from Dedenes and Crobats if he's going to get anything done here.
Yeah, and he doesn't have much at all. I mean, that was a quick Electrify. That wasn't like, oh, I played my hand, I played a card, I've had a think. That was a, right, I've got nothing, let's Electrify. Nice to get energy onto the board, but Zach is going to be able to go up some prizes here if he wants. He's got Boss's Orders to hit into the Pikachu and Zekrom, which is clearly what he's going to do. Now he gets the first attack into a tag team, and it feels a little bit like that was the turn where Lorenzo could really start going ahead in the game, and it didn't work out.
So yeah, we are going to see another full blitz. That's Zach's last 2 remaining basic energies. I think he only has 1 speed lightning left in his deck actually to attach at all. I think he's prized 2 of his energy cards, so a little bit awkward for him. These energies are always going into onto Bolton here. I think Lorenzo's main chance is now if he can get the Bolton back into the active and Bolt Storm with the help of his Dance of the Ancients for full value. I think that's the only way he can take a knockout this turn. Otherwise, he's just hoping to, again, sacrifice some prizes, full blitz, build up his Raichu Alolan Raichu, and attempt to make some reset stamp plays later down the line.
It's got to be what he's looking for. We haven't seen Tapu Koko come down yet, and it's, you know, he's gone through half his deck. It's still not coming out, and it doesn't look like it's coming this turn. We do see an air balloon onto the Boltund, but are we just going to see a full blitz and then giving up the Pikachu and Zekrom? That might be what's going on here, and the problem is Zach's got so much energy on the board now that actually his own Boltund is becoming a really powerful attacker again, so we're going to see potentially a 2-prize Pokemon taking KOs to save the 3-prize Pokemon, which is not something Lorenzo's apparently able to do, and although we're even up on damage and prizes here, this does look like it's turning into a game where Zach is again in the lead.
Yeah, he's a little bit ahead right now. There's still more Crushing Hammers potentially in his deck that could continue to swing the tide further in his favor. I don't think there's much you're really looking for. I think he held the hand last turn because he wanted to keep the quick ball option in case he had to Eldegoss for Boss's Orders, which I really like. But I think now you should be quite happy to just thin as many cards as possible and Dede change and get a fresh hand here. Possibly even Marnieing the opponent would be a good shout here, as you're going to continue to just full blitz and take some prizes.
Yeah, I think this is looking really, really good for him. He's going to get the KO with full blitz. Now, he does have Eldegoss here. Could be using it to grab a supporter. He is, rather than just going to Dene. And it is actually a Boss's Orders here.
10 to 40. So he's looking to Dede change, find a switch card, and his last speed lightning to try and Bolton KO.
He hits them both.
Wow, he only had 1 energy remaining in his deck. What a crazy turn.
That was such a gutsy play there. That was far from guaranteed. But it's like I said a moment ago, Boltund as a 2-prize attacker, if it can be taking these KOs, is huge. And now Zach has got 3 prizes remaining, and there is a 3-prize Pokemon on Lorenzo's board, which is heavily damaged. I mean, we are now at the stage where Zach just needs a Boss's Orders for game here, and honestly, it might not even take that. Lorenzo needs a Boss's Orders just to really stay in the game here, or else he's attacking into a 2-prize Pokemon, and he's too far behind to be doing that right now. Yeah,
what a turn. Big gamble from Zach, but my goodness, did that pay off. He had a straight 50-50. I think it was actually less than a 50-50 to even hit that speed lightning energy. But man, he did, and it really makes it pay. That's a huge swing in the game with 1 energy left in the deck. What a play to make.
I mean, that is just... I mean, it's one of those ones, if it works out... even if it doesn't work out, to be fair, you've still got good options. He's still flooded the board with energy. It's not like missing that would have lost him the game, but certainly hitting it seems to have accelerated victory quite nicely. We do see Lorenzo dropping a reset stamp with a Bolt Storm KO here is quite nice. It puts Zach down to a 3-card hand, and there's a 2-prize Pokemon in the active, and he's taking some prizes, so Lorenzo here clearly doing everything he can to make life difficult for Zach.
Yeah, and there is still the option of the Tapu Koko Prism Star. There's a 4-energy Pikachu and Zekrom. If Zach can't boss his orders this turn, and he's picked up a Quick Ball, so he can start Crobatting at the very least, it could be a Dance of the Ancients attached. So Lorenzo's, in theory, threatening game here. Crushing Hammer could keep him out of range. It certainly does. That's nice. That gives you a lot more breathing space here. It would force additional energy switch outs, but we can see a Crobat here for 5 cards. Is there going to be a boss's orders to close the game here and now?
There is indeed. Zach is going to play the boss's orders. He's going to bring up the Pikachu and Zekrom. He's going to get the KO, and he is going to take a 2-0 victory over Lorenzo Falai. Or he's going to attach a speed energy. No, he is going to use Bolt Storm, and he is going to attack and win the match 2-0. A very well played series.